What's up, guys? Takes Zelfie here with absolutely no prep time. We're gonna be talking about the new Time Gazer Space Juggler sets featuring Miami from Hotline Miami.
Fuck off.
I did.
TLDR, this set is not good.
Uh, I need to look at the set more, but yeah. All right, yeah, Mega. It's bad.
Yeah, and Mega, it's bad. It attacks for colorless, which will be funny with Zoroark once Golisopod rotates.
Uh,
But other than that,
you lose Twin
no.
Energy, and then you're not even dealing 100
And you're
less
dealing like
damage.
100 damage.
Yeah, like why? Uh,
Mhm.
Leafeon has a decent sort of energy ramp, but it's mildly way too inconvenient. You gotta
Yeah, this would be maybe playable if it were on a basic, but it's not, so it's bad.
yeah, this is you gotta put fucking EVs into your deck, and then you gotta evolve this, and you gotta attach the energies to something else instead of just attacking.
Yeah. I mean, the Eevee's like worth talking about, but
Yeah, uh, Shaman's low key a borderline really good card. It's not broken, but it's borderline really good.
yeah. Like this is a card I could see maybe seeing more play like post rotation when you don't just always want to start with Sobble.
Huh. This could be some type of control card as well. Um,
Yeah.
but
Although I'm not sure how much of a control card is when you can literally only use the attack if you go second going first.
well, here's the thing. Control isn't gonna be doing a whole lot turn one anyways, and you
Yeah.
also gotta think about it. Let's just look at old Volcanium for example, from the Sun Moon block or something. Like people would go second of Welder decks not only to
Yeah.
play Welder, but to also just use Firestarter, whatever the move is called.
Yeah. Although Volcanion also had a really good second attack,
Yeah,
which I think bears mention.
yeah, that's true. I will say that this effect gets a lot better post rotation when Marty rotates out, and I don't think as many people will be playing Judge.
Hmm.
Um, so
I don't know. I feel like whenever we start talking about a card and we go, oh, control, it might be good in control, I feel like it's not a good card.
Control did get fourth or seventh or something like that. So it is worth talking about.
Control
I
did not make top four. That was like Mew, Rapid Strike, Malamar, Rapid Strike, Urshifu, and
Okay,
then
but it made top eight,
Arceus.
which is still really fucking good.
Yeah.
Um, but I think this is a card to look out for. Potentially, people might just raw play this as their backup go second option, though that doesn't seem as likely. There's Hisui Lilgit, which is an awful spread attack.
This was good once upon a time when it was called Tapu Koko and it was a basic with free retreat.
Yeah, there's just too much setup for not as the
Hmm.
damage is the same, but the Pokemon are scaled up a lot more to the damage is effectively
Yeah.
worse.
TLDR, every Pokemon, for the most part, that isn't like a V or a V Max or a V Star specifically interacts with them is still on the power level they were in 2012.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
Lilligant is just
it,
not great.
most of the like not ultra rare cards are just not worth talking about.
Mm-hmm. The Hisui Lilligant V actually doesn't have a bad first attack.
Yeah, Dance is fine if you're going second, you know?
It's a consistency booster. It's not anything that's worth running your deck outside of that. Just
So I just noticed in this art, and it feel dumb because Lilligant is one of my favorite 5th gen Pokemon.
mm-hmm.
This thing doesn't have a mouth.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad it took you this long.
It has no mouth and it must scream. I guess you don't need a mouth when you photosynthesize, but still.
Yeah. We got Hisui Lilligant V Star,
Elegant V-Star.
and I might as well talk about Gardenia's first
Yeah,
because
we're gonna need to just bring up Gardenia's now because it
yeah,
recontextualizes pretty
yeah.
much the entire metagame.
Draw two cards that attach two grass energy from your hand and one of your benched Pokemon. This is almost like Welder. There's a few differences. One
Yeah.
is that Welder was in a format where there's a stadium explicitly to search it out, alongside. No, that's just it. It was just a stadium, I think. Uh, the search out the energies. This also has to attach to the bench, and the draws are also inverted. So
Yeah.
there's more
I
leeway
would
on the
argue the
draw.
draws being inverted is slightly better for Gardenia because you can draw into grass energy.
Of course, if you only have one grass in hand and you need to high roll it, then it's very good. This I'll talk about this card a little bit more later. I'll give it pretty much its own section. But just know that pretty much any grass Pokemon, you need to like acknowledge this. Even a bunch of other
Mhm.
Pokemon, you have to acknowledge this. So
Yeah, any colorless Pokemon, any Pokemon that attacks for like one type, colorless,
yeah,
all of those can make it into a consideration.
so yeah, the V
I'm
Star.
just gonna say right now, I know this is spoilers. This is Gardenia is the best card in the set, and it is not close.
Yeah, that's probably true. So we got the Lilligant V Star here.
Yeah,
Does
anyway, Elegant V-Star is pretty obviously the Pokemon that they're like trying to prepackage Gardenia with.
right? I actually don't think it's that bad. The more I thought about it, it
Yeah.
has sort of consistent damage, and you do bounce the energy back to your hand, which means that you're gonna be able to more easily Gardenia's next turn in case the
Hmm.
Pokemon gets knocked out.
Yeah. Like the V-Star power is actually set up most decks would kill for, but not on a stage one, so it just kind of sets itself up.
Yeah, it kind of
Okay,
sets
you're
itself
talking
up.
about the fucking cartoons.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, we're
And
recording
we are
too.
recording a video.
Oh, I see it.
um, but yeah, you get the Surge Grass Pokemon Grass Energy, so you get the like even further boost any engines you might have set up. I don't know what type of grass Pokemon you'd want to set up next to this, because I feel like this grabs all the energy you'll probably
Yeah,
need, so you don't need to set that Eldegoss from Evolving Skies,
no.
but yeah.
But Eldegoss is I think Eldegoss just being able to pull the energy directly from the deck also makes that a huge consideration, especially while the call for Family Gossifleur is still in the format.
Yeah. I actually have no clue, so... Oh wait, Samurot's already out. Do you know how much HP Hisuian Samurot has?
Hammerite regular has like 160.
The V-Star.
280, I
Oh
think.
wait, that's weak to grass, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Basically, one of the points I want to make is that Arceus is one of the few like actually tanky V stars, um, and then you got like Darkrai and Samurott, which will probably come into the metagame, and they're also weak to grass. I believe they're both weak to grass.
They are. I've
So
worked it out finally. Every like base dark type is weak to grass, every base poison type is weak to fighting. Because
got it.
that makes sense.
Right. So it is worth noting that most of the other V stars are like around 260, which means that the choice belt Lilligant's actually going to be able to OHKO most of the targets. It's just
No, I think
Arceus
this is
that
like
misses out on.
the baseline for what you would expect out of a Gardenia attacker so far. There are a few other attackers that I think might be better. I'm personally really excited to try Gardenia in Torterra,
Right. Um,
even though like Torterra is just so close to being good, you know?
yeah. And as my final note, I will say that I think just because this card is a two prizer, um, I think it's probably gonna like see it may not see decent play,
Hmm.
but it's pretty good. It's
Yeah,
not
like
like
this is the
instantly
baseline
tier
for.
one, but you can play it and it'll do just fine.
Yeah, I think this will absolutely be like kind of the next Leafeon of the format, ironically enough. But in just like a very low ceiling, consistent deck.
Right, that's a good comparison. Um, Next up, we got Politoed. Uh, this is really funny. I love this
Polytoad
card.
is amusing. Manaphy being around makes it, I guess, better than it could be otherwise.
Partially, so you could get up to so it's 10 plus 60 plus
Mhm.
90 plus 120. You get 210 plus 70, so 280
280.
damage max. With a choice belt, you can hit
Yeah.
310. That's like pretty
That's
alright
new
damage.
numbers.
Uh, the setup is also
Yeah.
unfortunately too much though. Like
Hmm.
first off, you have to have
Like,
a Poliwrath, which occupies
mhm.
one of the four Poliwags, Poliwhirls you have in the deck. Um,
Yeah.
and
And
you
unfortunately, like if this card were released back when they cared about things that weren't ultra rares, we would see Poliwrath maybe have some sort of support ability, but no.
no. So
No, Poliwrath does nothing to make this any easier to set up whatsoever.
it's a funny meme deck, but yeah, it
Mhm.
is way too much stuff. At least for a meme deck, you could actually maybe do something with it after all your payoff.
Yeah. No, if
Uh,
they ever somehow release like a Poliwrath that maybe like adds water Pokemon from the deck to hand or something,
yeah, maybe.
then suddenly this gets good. But until then, it's funny. And I appreciate the effort they put in, you know. This is a fairly unique attack.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we did have a bunch of top entry cards before, and they all pretty much eventually got cards that were playable with them.
Yeah.
So, you never
Well,
know.
mostly just Ludicolo. I don't remember Chandelure or Luxray being seen much.
They didn't get seen much, but they were still, at least they tried.
Yeah, they tried.
Mantine is Echoing Horn on a single prizer, which
But
Seems very
hey,
cringe.
it can also get your own Pokemon back, so it's self-recovery. It's broken.
True. The biggest issue with this card is that Echoing Horde is already a fringe card. Um,
Yeah,
it doesn't help by the fact that, if you're trying to target that two prizes specifically, sometimes an opponent will just fill out their bench immediately after a Pokemon is knocked out, and then you
yeah.
won't get that opportunity to.
I will say though, before we move on, this has gorgeous artwork.
I love Mantine. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. I do have to agree there. Um, Swanna is really bad. I'm not even going to bother with that one.
Yeah, Swanna is bad.
Manectric is not the worst two prize
Okay,
attacker
before
I've
you
ever
continue,
seen.
I want to point out, this is. Do you remember the Manectric EX that you played exclusively to evolve into Mega Manectric, which was one of the most format-defining Pokemon?
Yeah. Is this literally the
This
same
has the
attack?
exact same attack,
Oh, okay.
except it does 40 more damage and it costs an extra energy.
Well, that's funny. Um,
Yeah,
technically, there was like there was this random deck that we were playing around before rotation. It was like Scrafty Box or Bad Brawl,
yeah.
and you played Piers to grab like Twin Energy. Um,
Would you like to reread Manectric?
yeah, if the opponent has a tool attached to them, it does 160 damage.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like I was about to say, it like is almost good. The only issue is that you don't really care about any water weakness in this format, so it's not even
yeah.
worth like the Rhyhorn plus the Twin Energy for shit like that
Mhm.
in that sort of style of
Yeah.
deck.
More importantly, this card relies on what your opponent is doing. And personally, I actually played the basic Manectric EX as a regionals deck, and I almost topped with it. But that was because the Team Flare tools were in the format.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So like, and that was like the most fringe excuse I could come up for that deck or for that Manectric, but it's probably not worth playing.
Yeah, again, it's more effort than the fucking Swanna.
Haha. We got some baller Luxray art here.
Yeah, this is stunning.
Uh,
Like, I hope the alt art genuinely is just like an expanded version of this art.
right. And then we got two attacks here, which are somewhat
Yeah,
usable to a degree.
very neat.
Um,
Radiating Pulse is interesting because it is currently the best way to get paralysis. You could probably do something funny with Flaffy, which is still in the format.
right. I wouldn't say it's exactly the best way to get paralysis because we do still have Tapu Koko VMAX. All you have
I
to do is
refuse to acknowledge that because
okay.
you have to take a knockout. You have to get knocked out first.
All right, just use Electrode Smile. But joking aside, like the first attack is okay, but Disconnect and Vikavolt already exist, who
Yeah,
just outright stops trainers in general.
yeah. I'm pretty grateful though that they didn't make Vikavolt double colorless, and I appreciate that they didn't make this just Quaking Punch. But again, because
Right.
that's not something we need to see.
Right. So like Luxray is just like too weak on both
Yeah.
fronts to really see a whole lot of play, unfortunately.
I don't know. This is a card to keep in mind if there's ever some way to disrupt like switching.
Perhaps.
Like currently most decks play like two switch cards, usually like one or two escape rope slash scoop up net.
Yeah.
Except for Mew, which plays four switch because it's Mew and it just wants the card out of the hand.
Right. Um. Next up.
Mew's the best deck. It's terrible, so
Next up, we got Reggie Lucky with the 3 retreat cost
yeah,
because they hate
fastest
this
Pokemon of all
Pokemon.
time. Three retreat.
I don't know.
Easy.
I don't know why they hate Reggie Lucky so much.
They just do. Like I don't even think this is a mistake. I think this was just spite.
You get the discard 2 electric energy, deal 120 to 100 punch punch. I believe the. I'm not sure if it's Chiller Rain or Evolving. I think it's Evolving Skies one. It has like 80 to 2 bench Pokemon, so
Yeah.
automatically that's a little bit better. Um, and then it has like knockoff Junkot here, which only puts one item back into your hand.
Yeah.
And simply enough, you don't get enough value off of items in this format. A lot of the items are usually direct search and not direct disruption, like Crushing Hammers or Hypnotoxic Lasers. And really
No,
just
that's really the
minus.
reason Control hasn't come back super hard yet, is because it's very difficult to like find things worth recycling.
So I don't think the Reggie Lucky is that good. We got Hisui Typhlosion, which
Explosion
is
is it's the once a set reminder that yes, burn exists.
it's a really cool effect. I like the
Yeah.
idea of the effect, but it's just like
It's
it
like
really sucks.
hypnotoxic laser, but balanced pretty much. Maybe a little overbalanced by the fact that it's on a stage 2 with a maintenance cost, but
Burn and confusion adds on. Well, the burn adds on quite a bit of damage, and confusion.
yeah, the confusion just kind of like I could see this maybe being a worth thing in control as like a way to sort of replicate hypnotoxic laser.
Perhaps that sounds sort of interesting. I still think it's like not worth the effort. I just might
Probably
acknowledge
not.
that I think it's a cool card. And then we got Mawile here, which has an interesting effect.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort. If you if you have the if you have the really don't have a switch, or God forbid we ever get like a Vileplume card that can lock items from the bench,
Haha.
suddenly this gets extremely funny.
It's also worth noting that the damage buff is, well, it's not a buff, it's a debuff actually.
Yeah.
Comparatively to most cards that say, if you use this effect, your move is straightened. I can't really think of any modern examples, so like my closest example is Sword Stance on like Jungle Scyther.
Mhm.
So at least
Yeah,
it's a debuff.
that's not modern at all. But
Yeah, which
no,
means
this is a neat card. I don't think it'll ever see play, but I appreciate the uniqueness of the effect. You know?
yeah, it at least forces the opponent to play a switch or basically get knocked out by something. But the way you set this up is too difficult, I think. We got Jirachi V. When your basic V is knocked out from an opponent's attack, you may choose one basic energy from one of your knocked out Pokemon and move it to another one of your Pokemon. I don't know what to think about this card because I don't know where you'd play it.
This would be really great on not a V. I guess it's funny on in Shadow Horse exactly.
No, it so
Oh no, it has to be a basic. Never mind. This card is
you'd have to play. It's like EXP share, right? Which we
it's
technically have
it's
in the
literally
format.
EXP share, but worse. But you don't have to search the tool, but you can get knocked out.
Yeah, I would also like to mention that this gets knocked out by Rapid Strike Urshifu with the Telescopic Sight and a Passidity off field,
Yeah,
which not the most modern example, I guess, because
yeah,
you
and
saw a
it's
lot of
like
Rapid Strike
you can
Urshifu,
play
but
Manaphy, but then that's 2 bench slots just to protect this.
right. Um, like this is an okay effect because it allows you to move energy around, but honestly, like you're only losing 2 Vs in a match before you lose the game, basically. Um, and I don't think you need to move energy around that much. I think all the decks that can already, like all the basic V decks that are good right now, and possibly in the future, are already good enough. They don't really need this sort of EXP share effect to like carry them. So yeah, Jirachi bad. Interesting though, but bad.
Yeah, that's been our review of the set so far.
Oh, is
Driftwood.
there a new Pokemon set coming out?
Yes.
Yes, Glenn. We're still
That's
recording.
cool.
uh,
I'm walking home. I'm going to chill
cool.
and try and stay quiet.
Cool. All right. We got Drifblim here. That's weak. That's not even worth talking about. Moving
No,
on.
it's bad. Let's move on. Cresselia has really pretty art.
Okay, it has really pretty art, but this effect is so funny too.
Mm-hmm.
It so
Yeah,
technically you can move
you could.
like 120 damage onto the opponent's side of the field. If you somehow got like a bunch of fucking damage stacked on your field, I don't know
Yo,
how the
yo,
fuck.
wait. You can pair this with Donphan. Hold the phone.
Um, Dolphins away. We have technically Spike Buff, and we have that new stadium that
Yeah,
says whenever you put a basic Pokemon down, uh,
yeah.
you add 20
Donphan is
damage.
the funniest way and probably the most consistent. But I don't know. Donphan is another one that just seemed really close to being good.
I mean, people are playing Dolphin as of late, so like, you never know. This could maybe be a random tech card. You play Dolphin, and then it gets
Yeah.
like the single prize, just like Malamar, or like you kill a bunch of Sobbles or some bullshit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. I really like this card. This is
Yeah.
the type of card where I'd really love to see this like get broken.
Oh yeah, I would love to see this show up somewhere. It would be hysterical.
We have Hisuian Arcanine, which is also pretty bad. It's 160
Yeah.
damage with a burn. If you attach
It pairs with
Undivided
Colossal,
Fire,
which is, I guess, fun, but also, what's up with his neck?
good question. He's just turning around.
What they do to his neck?
He's just turning around.
It looks awkward.
He's like looking over his shoulder.
Oh, he broke his neck. That's so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, there's that polygraph we were talking about, by the way. It's not great.
Yeah.
You don't really
It's
want to
not
use.
great. It gives Polytoad decks a theoretical way to hit for fighting weakness, which I guess is funny.
Yeah, I mean you're already Yoko and Arceus anyways, but go off.
God, I just really wish this did something to make getting Polytoad's condition set up easier instead of just being a junk rare.
Yeah, we have Machamp V, which isn't worth talking about. But the VMAX is actually kind of okay.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Worth noting is it will probably outlast Mew in the format.
Somehow.
But until then,
So we just got, if I recall, Lecture removes weakness, right? A card we haven't talked about yet, but yeah.
it does, and I resent where this is going, but continue.
So I just wanted to say that 2 energy for 220 damage is pretty good, all things considered. With a choice belt, you can OHKO a caped Suicune, and then you also OHKO pretty much every other relevant thing in the format. Because it's only 2 energy as well, you get Cheryl access. And you also have innate energy ramp in the form of the fucking Gutsy Pickaxe, that's what it's called, which says check the top card of your deck, and if it's a fine energy, attach it. Otherwise, draw it. So you do have a way to consistently string attacks alongside both Spike Move and the new Bog Stadium, which we'll talk about. That puts damage on. So this is actually not a hard Pokemon to use. On top of that, it has 330 HP, which is super good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's weak to Psychic, so your argument is invalid.
This is where
So
Lecture
true.
comes in, which removes the weakness. You can really go that route if you really wanted to, but like
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's probably the only way it will be worth playing until me rotates.
yeah, it'll either be that, or some fucking hybrid dark mix. But still, like it's a pretty good Pokemon, all things considered.
Yeah, it's solid. It's just weak to Psychic.
Yeah, weakness aside, it's super fantastic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Sudowoodo, if this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, its retreat costs 0, so this is basically like a pseudo Machamp support.
I just want to point out that the ability is named Skedaddle, and that is hilarious.
It's great.
That
Skedaddle.
sounds appropriate for Sudowoodo.
I hope to God they keep that for the localization. That's too perfect to not.
I was trying to think about free retreaters on the format, and after rotation, I think we're losing Air Balloon, so we're gonna have to rely more on Pokemon like Tapu Koko and Cast Forms to do our pivoting for us. I'm not sure if this is worth a spot in Machamp for that reason.
I mean, this has the same amount of HP as Tapu Koko, so you're not really gaining anything from it.
It has less because you want it to be damaged.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
Like the most I could say is that it does proc your condition on top of having a retreat cost of 0. It also means it's immune to Galar Mine or any other sort of retreat factoring things we might get later. Whether or not it's the consistency thing or not, we'll see. But it's maybe somewhat playable.
Maybe.
Only in Machamp explicitly, by the way.
Yeah, or any sort of like Dawn fan, I guess.
Yeah, and
Going
any
back
sort of
to Dawn
self-damaging
fan,
deck. We got Rampardos, 240
Can,
damage.
before you go back, can we check out the Cranidos art? Because it is really slick.
He's cool. He's running around a bunch of plants.
Yeah. Rampardos, I think, would be awesome if it weren't a fossil.
Fossils are bitch.
Yeah.
Is the
Are fossils
Just put down
Are
a
fossils
Cranidos.
still complete? Are fossils
Yes.
still completely unplayable since
Yes. You could print a
Since,
fossil
like,
Pokemon that says
2006.
once during your turn you win the game and nobody would play it.
I know.
I think we had an Aerodactyl as of late that was pretty good, but yeah, fossils are still pretty hard to use.
Yeah.
On top
And
of
it's
that,
a
there's
shame
another
because-
restriction added to this, which makes it even harder to use. In the fringe case that your opponent decides to break, you don't do anything.
It's if your opponent has 3 or fewer cards in hand, so as long as they have 4 or higher.
Yeah, like I said, in the fringe case that your opponent decides to break, it can't do anything besides
Have you
attack
heard
for
of a card
60.
called Marnie?
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Yeah, like if you hit them with a Marnie or even a Judge post-rotation, I suppose, You are fulfilling the condition, and it's a ton of damage. Like, obviously, you one-shot Arceus. With a belt, you one-shot pretty much every V-Star that is not Arceus,
Right. I think I'd
but it's a
rather.
fossil.
I think I'd rather play any of the other stage twos that have a little bit of a higher damage cap.
Yeah,
Basically,
like,
the
you
only
can't
two I'm
even
thinking
rare
of.
candy into... Like, you're playing a stage 2, you cannot rare candy.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like Torterra. I'm thinking of like Leon's or stuff like that.
Hmm.
Me and Shao is also not good. We're just gonna skip that. Ariados is too convenient for being a stage one with not enough scaling on its attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is worse Leafeon, except it hits for weakness, so I guess you could tech this into Leafeon.
Oh wow, you're
But
gonna hit weakness against a deck that has free retreat.
exactly, it's broken.
um,
No, Poison Ivy is already a deck that does not require Ariados, no matter how sweet this art is, by the way.
right.
Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty critical in the Sword and Shield era in terms of, like, actual cards, but the art has always been top-notch.
Yeah. We got Samra, and this is basically make do or trade
Yeah.
plus on a stage two. You get to draw an extra additional card.
Yeah, I personally don't think this is worth the extra card, but...
I talked about before how the investment to get this out is not usually worth the payoff. Um,
Mhm.
I think I'll retract my statement just the tiniest little bit. We were losing make do, and even though we still have lovable in the format and trade, which is also make do, my part is 100 base, which means it isn't searchable off of lovable. On top of that, we're also going to be losing evolution incense. So technically, my
Shit, that's
part
right.
so technically, Light Part's only searchable off of Ultra Ball and Great
So
Ball.
with this...
Yes, uh, but the case here is that maybe if you like high value into the rare candy into this, you'll get way more value out of this than you would searching the Light Part instead. I think that's
But the
a
fact that you
very
need that extra piece just makes it so much worse.
yeah. I think that's a very optimistic take.
Hmm.
Also worth noting that you can even play this in Internatus, which is even like one of the few decks that might even consider this, just because the Pokemon
Because
before is a
Duat's a
water
water
type.
type.
Yeah. Um, and the attack is basically a worse scaling version of Darkrai V Star,
Yeah.
which
Like,
has
it's fine. It's nice that it has a usable attack if the situation comes up, but it's not great.
right, and you're also never really gained that much energy onto it anyways. So, Fringe case, and maybe there's some greedy fucking deck out there that really wants to use this, but I don't see that as being too likely.
Mhm.
We got Thievul. If your opponent has two or fewer prize cards remaining, supporter cards played from your opponent's hand have no effect on benched Vs. Um,
So this is just an admittance that Boss's orders should have never been printed. Let's
yes,
not sugarcoat this.
yeah. So this is basically like giving you a turn to have anti-boss,
Hmm.
which allows you to force more one prizers up, I guess. But that also feels just a little bit sketchy. I don't know what
Yeah.
type of deck would even appreciate this outside of possibly Zoroark. Maybe you can
Yeah,
smash this against
Zoroark is
one
the
of.
only thing that I think would really use this because it's the only thing that can put it into play in one turn.
Yeah, you could also be playing like the issue is that if you're not playing Zoroark, you have to actually like put in like
Yeah,
maybe a 2/2
you
or
have
a
to actually
1/1
put the
line.
Nickit down, and you have to set this up early game just for, like, late game payoff.
Right, and you also have to be a deck that has both like a V attackers out if that's a V star or V max on top of like a single prize attacker. And honestly, outside of the very few Arceus box decks, there's not a whole lot of those in the format, which just means that there's not a whole lot of like actual
I
decks where
think
this can fit in.
I think we're a little off. Like, I think this was explicitly printed so you cannot boss Luminion as easily.
Yeah, probably.
But no, this needed to be like a stadium or a tool and not a stage one. Or maybe we just stop printing boss as just like
Yeah.
a card with zero downsides.
I think unironically Diancie is a whole lot better as a card.
Yeah. I don't know.
We got Magnezone. Magnezone's really funny. I like this.
Yeah. I appreciate Magnemite's attack as well. It's a neat little setup thing for early game.
Right. We are losing quite a quite a bunch of metal support. We're gonna be losing Metal Sauce. We're
Hmm.
losing Zacian. We'll still have the Bronze Zon. The not Metal Links. It's
Yeah.
Metal Transfer. There we go.
Hmm. No, we're also losing like all of Metal's good attackers.
Right. So, if you want to play a metal deck, then this might, unfortunately and fortunately, also be your only way of ramping the energy up. Um,
Yeah.
it's really hard to say how good this card could really be. But, like, I don't know, maybe you're playing fucking Dialga and you want to ramp all the energy onto that. I think that's
Yeah.
definitely the intention, and maybe it will achieve some games, but it seems a little bit too hard to set up um, to consistently work.
Yeah, I'm not. It's funny, but I'm not sold.
Haha. We got Reggie Lucky puts a basic
This is
and
not Reggie Lucky. This is
fucking
Reggie.
Reggie Steele. I don't know.
I like the. Am I allowed to say? Am I allowed to say it?
You like the art?
I I I like the dick laser. It's funny.
Oh my god. Okay. uh, it's bad. We have a better call for family user in the game right now.
Mhm.
That's well, not in the game yet, but we're getting a Hisui and Basculin that does it for
Yeah,
free.
Pascaline is gonna actually be worth it.
Haha. So don't play this.
Hmm.
Dialga, uh, with one energy attaches two metal automatically on the V, and then the V star is really the juice, where it does 40x. Well, it is 40 plus 40x for each metal you have on it, and you want to eventually ramp up into the 5 energy attack that says deal 220 damage and then take another turn.
Yeah,
That
my
sounds
assessment on
pretty
this
good.
card since we last reviewed this is it has not changed.
Yeah,
This card is not good.
we basically haven't gotten any additional support for this card. They kind of laid all their cards out early for this, and they're like, "Hey, you got
Mhm.
Magmazine, you got Adamant, and then you got this."
Yeah.
I
And like
still,
Adamant is really good. This is not.
yeah, I don't think that there is. I don't think there's enough payoff for actually using the V Star.
Yeah.
Taking an extra turn is usually pretty good, but
I mean,
I
duh.
think, yeah, I think the only card that's ever effectively done that is Metacham, and that's basically due to the types of decks that Metacham supports, which are like
Yeah.
decks that want to set up specific damage thresholds and can pinpoint a lot of extra damage in between like 2 turns. This just hits hard and then
It hits
does everything
hard. It
else.
doesn't even hit. It doesn't even scale well. You need
Right,
6 energy to knock out an Arceus in one hit.
right, and that's way too much commitment.
Like I guess you could play this with Arceus itself and like be haha funny. I'm playing ADP again almost.
Right, and the less notable mention I'll at least say is Memory Capsule can allow you to use the first attack, which can sort of allow you to use it up easily, but that's a whole turn you're committing to charging up a Pokemon. That requires a lot more than just, 2 extra energy attachments. We got Bisharp here, which does, for 1 metal energy, 30 plus 30 for each damage counter on the bench Poniard.
I think this card's really fun.
If
I will
you.
absolutely be building around it
Yeah,
just for fun. You can play it with Zoroark, so you can keep 4 Poniards on the bench and do that more damage that way.
true. We did talk about the stadium before that's like the bog. Puts 20
Mhm.
damage whenever you put a basic down. So automatically you get 60 damage if you put 4 Poniards down after playing that stadium. Which translates to how much? Like 100, no, 210. It translates to 210
Yeah, 3
damage.
Poniards, 2 damage each means you're doing 210. If you can get the 4th out with Zoroark, you
Right.
are doing 270, which is frustratingly close.
Haha. With the choice spell, which you're probably
Mhm.
going to be playing, it'll probably do that. It's 1 metal energy, so the energy cost
Yeah.
isn't much of a problem. It's just a matter of the setup. Um, I think it's funny, but I think the damage is just slightly out of reach
Mhm.
for this to
I think
really
it'll
take
be
off.
like more primed in the future if there's better ways to put damage on yourself besides just coming into play.
Right. If we had something else that could stack the damage even more, I also want to see how much damage like Ponders have. They have 60. I mean that's a little bit sketchy. If they had 70, it'd be better. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Manaphy exists, although if they can't knock you out in one hit, it's not a problem.
We got another broken Eevee with no broken evolutions to use it with. Um,
Yeah, I mean, the thing this pairs with is the memory capsule evolutions, of which Jolteon might be the most relevant because it turns off like the Drizzile and Inceleon package.
right. And I don't remember if this card got changed from the last time I saw it. I definitely thought it was just you could play any evolution, but you have to evolve
Yeah.
the EV specifically.
Oh shoot, you do.
Yeah.
Never mind, this card sucks.
If we ever got a really good attacking like
Yeah.
evolution, this would be pretty insane. Because if you have 4 EVs down, you just automatically get to evolve all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if people are still playing like black white and this card is printed. This would just be like, hey, I'm gonna evolve all these Flareons now,
Yeah.
or basically
Yeah.
anything like that. So like broken effect with no real
Mm-hmm.
card to make use of it right now. But like,
But hey, keep an eye out in the
Broken
future.
enabler, nothing to explode with.
yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this is like gonna expand it because I don't know the context of like I guess the GXs I guess is what you'd be paying attention to, but yeah. Maybe it's broken there, but I don't know the GXs well enough to say if that's true. Chatout's kind of bad.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Chatot.
Oh, I'll talk about Regigigas, only the fucking meme on it. So if you fill up your entire bench space with bad Pokemon, you get to charge 3 energy for the discard. I don't know how you're getting those energies in this card. I guess like Ultra Ball and Quick Ball, I guess. And then you get to deal 300 damage to a VMAX, which isn't enough to OHKO basically anything besides Jolteon. So what was all that payoff for? I don't fucking know.
That was it? I was expecting like a much better...
No, I fucking hate this card.
I was expecting a much better rant, honestly.
I I wish I had more to say. You can play 5 bad cards to use a bad effect that only works against 3 primers, and it doesn't even do the job it's supposed to do and OHKO the like 3 primers. Like
This card is so funny. There is a world in which they made the other Reggies not complete ass, and maybe you could justify this as the accelerator, but...
there's a world where they made this, say, Pokemon V, or if the active Pokemon has a rule box, it does 150 more damage, but also has to be a VMAX. Everyone's playing fucking Arceus nowadays too. Like, what are you gonna do against that? Fucking suck a dick, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Braviary.
We don't need to talk about Braviary.
People are playing that Starmie that we shit on last time.
This is true. I hate that. I refuse to believe that we'll see Let's Play once like Palkia releases in Japan,
To be
but...
fair, they are playing it in a techie, like, toolbox type of deck. Where
Like
it's
that
not
deck
the
is
primary
so
attacker.
like that deck is so unbelievably cope, it's not even funny.
I will not say anything until I actually test it and play its matchups. But yeah, I don't think you really need that effect on a stage 1 with even worse scaling. Like, I'm way more confident saying this card is bad than I am saying Starmie is bad. At least Starmie had Melody going for it, and whatever the fuck JP is concocting. We got Greedit, who says, dump,
Radiant is funny.
discard your hand. If you discard a 5, you deal 210. I just like the name dump.
Like, it's funny. I think it could be maybe fringe playable as, like, maybe in Zoroark, and exclusively Zoroark, which wants to discard its hand anyways.
We have the barrel, so there's ways to actually redraw all that
Yeah.
with no consequences. But, like, you'll probably churn through your deck faster than you'll, like, KO. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, if it was in like the 240 threshold, it would unironically be really good. But it only does 210, so...
Right. And then, of course, there's the factor of, like, sure, you draw a hand for barrel. Ugh. And then what? Like, do you want to actually play any of those cards? If you can't, like, if you don't have another barrel set up immediately, then, like, you don't want to play any of your cards, and then you're just sticking yourself into a loop where you're not really doing anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there is some potential here, but it's probably very small.
Yeah. Weird interviews sort of worth talking about in a weird way where I don't know where the fuck you'd put it, but it's there.
Any sort of energy ramp deck might want to play this. Like, I was thinking if Cherim was still playable, I could play this as a one-off in Cherim just to end games.
If there's any decks, I guess, like, Arceus, like, doesn't mind this card. Basically, in your
Arceus doesn't mind it. You could play it in any sort of Flapple concoction.
I was gonna say Gardenia shit
Yeah.
as well.
Like, this is just it's kind of like Double V in the sense that it's a solid generic card that probably won't see play because it's almost too generic.
So, what is the scale on this? Is it 40 plus or 40x? It's 40x.
40x.
40x, so you need 8 energies in play to Oko a VMAX most of the time because it is 320.
Yeah.
You can fix that math that choice spell sometimes. So you have to have 8 energies in play. I think most of the time, like, even like good RC specs, they will maybe have 8 energies in play at max. And then that's not including, when they play Sharon's or if a Pokemon dies. And that's also not including DTE, which doesn't reduce your damage. I mean, it makes it deal like a little
It
bit
does
less.
reduce your damage. Yes, that
Slightly.
is how DTE works.
Okay, but like the cost of like putting DTE down towards the payoff you get is, you get 60 damage instead of 40.
Mhm.
So technically, it's a little bit better. Um, it's it's maybe playable. You'd have to play explicitly as a finisher because this does require all the energies to be on it.
Like it's like Double V in that sense, and that it's just a very generic finisher that might be a little too generic for what the format wants.
Right. I think it's just a little bit too costly. I think only RC specs and Shadow Rider have a chance to pull this off. But if you have that amount of energy and play with Shadow Rider, you're already OKing them anyway, so like, cool.
Um,
Switch card is bad.
it's fun.
Okay, so you might think, oh well, this is better than Switch, but keep in mind this is basic Pokemon, so like,
We don't need to explain every bad card.
Trekking Shoes, we do have Gutsy Pickaxe, which I will say
Yeah.
is, discard a card, draw a card.
This is like a nerfed acro bike. Like you don't get to pick. You're pretty much picking if you want the first card or not, and then you just have to hope the second card's better. But hey, you can play a 56 card deck, which if we hit a critical mass of trainers like this, we will eventually just have a like turbo format again.
We can play 52 cards of Mew, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't. It'd be really cool if you could like choose to leave the card on top of your deck, just because there's a few
Mhm.
synergies of cards that would appreciate that, but that's not really the case. I could see, in a similar sense, like Gutsy, I can see this maybe in Gardenia decks where you're just really fetching for energy and you're just trying to turbo shit out. It is a way to thin your draws out that way, and make sure you have the energies for Gardenias. The fossil's a fossil. Featherball.
Yeah.
Uh,
Featherball is funny, but they're wait. Oh my god, this searches Mew without a discard.
yeah, it
Why?
searches. It not only searches Mew, but it searches up both Mews. That actually wasn't even my first thought. My first thought was like, oh, you can search up Togekiss with this because I'm still
No,
thinking
no,
that deck is good. So
we're not
good.
coping with Togekiss. We're searching out the
We
main
got
attacker,
we
the
got
best deck
energy.
in the format for no cost.
We
Fuck
got
you.
we got energy loader though. It's maybe good. Um, but yeah, this is maybe an auto. I can't tell if it's an auto included Mew because for some reason Mew likes like discarding its hand to draw even more shit that they deck themselves out. This is even
Yeah.
better. Okay, so this is even better than Fog Crystal in the decks where they took out the special energy.
Yeah.
Because they're not searching out the basic
Or
energy,
basic energy, you mean.
which means that they actually get to search out the VMAX.
Yeah. Like, this is just basically takes your fog crystal slot.
Yeah, I don't like the entirely all special energy variant, but a lot of people do, so like,
Mhm.
go for it.
Mew players will find a way to fit this in, don't
Also,
worry.
Togekiss is broken.
Sure.
Adaman, discard 2 metals. If you do, you search your deck for any 2 cards. The biggest issue with this card is, like we said earlier, there's not like a lot of good trainers that you want to. Oh, it's any 2 cards, right? Never mind.
Yeah.
It's not just trainers. This card's too hard to think about.
Alright, would you like to move on to the card that defines this entire set?
I'm trying to think if I could say anything else about Adaman, but like my only issue with him is that he's not a tempo-based supporter. A lot of the supporters in this format are either supportive or destructive. At least the good ones. We got shit like Cheryl and Marty, both cards that destroy the opponent's tempo one way or another. And then we got Research.
I would argue this is supportive, especially because, well, we still have Metal Patch. Metal's entire game plan is still just to fill their discard pile.
True, it is really good in the one set that we have in before rotation.
Exactly. I'm glad you see it my way.
Um, and then the other like tempo heavy support is a research because it draws you a shit ton of cards, boss's orders, melody, Rhyhod, shit like that. All right, Gardenias. This card's really fucking good.
This card is broken. This is going to be format defining.
Yeah. The biggest issue of this card compared to Welder is that Welder had a stadium which automatically searched out the energy that you needed, and we don't exactly have that same type of luxury where we just get to put down a card and grab the energies immediately. We do have to, play energy searches or Elagos or just draw into it.
Yeah, but it also draws the card first.
Yes. Um, and then you also have to attach to the bench Pokemon, so you have to have a way of swapping out. Probably going to put a little bit of emphasis on free retrievers in the next format when we lose Air Balloon and we can't just stick an Air Balloon to everything.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, this card's that's like all the flaws I can say about this card. This card's really fucking good. And
Yeah, no. I think the most likely way this format will head after the set is there'll just be like 3 pillars of decks, which are Mew, like all the Arceus conglomerates, and then all of the Gardenia conglomerates.
I don't think it's gonna be that centralizing. Just because I will say that the power level of fire type attackers when Welder was around was absurdly stupid for no fucking reason.
Yeah, like there isn't great grass attackers yet. They're trying to push Hisui and Lilligant, but
Yeah,
don't worry, I'm sure they'll fix that real soon.
yeah. So like you got Arceus variants that might appreciate this. We got the Lilligant we talked about earlier. Um, we've got the Leafeon V Star V Max. I think the V Star in particular is pretty alright, mostly because he hits the number that he needs to hit to KO everything. He's deceptively bulky because he reduces damage, and he's also a 2-prizer too, with on-demand boss's orders as a ability.
Yeah, more importantly, you can play this in Torterra.
Torterra is another good example of a deck that's pretty fringe close. I've seen quite a few people who went like 5 and something at regionals, and like with Torterra, I'm like, that's better than I think Ava was expecting at
Yeah.
least, because that's at least a record of 5 and 4, which is 5 wins, 4 losses, which is 50-50 or better than 50-50.
Hmm.
Um, the other card I've really been thinking about is Brilliant Stars of Rude. Which
No,
is...
you didn't think about that. I showed it to you. Give me credit.
Okay, you showed me that. I forgot who showed me that. But yeah, Brilliant Stars of Rude is like kind of insane. It's a Suicune-like attacker where it hits 240 with Gardenia. Or, if you're hitting a V, it can also be charged by Ludicolo. It'll basically OHKO everything in the format. Even the choice belt, it'll OHKO shit like Duraludon with the big charm on it. So I kind of think Zarude low-key has a chance to become one of the better decks in the format. Seeing as we already see Suicune as like super popular and super strong and hard to play, but still pretty popular. Or you can play Delmise.
Or you could play Delmise, or Venusaur VMAX, or...
Yeah.
God, it's just... You have to literally recontextualize every grass attacker, every colorless attacker, and every single card that benefits from, like, 1 color, 2 colorless.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that we will still have Melody in the format, so I think Melody is also really strong, just because it requires less in your hand. You just have to have a water energy, which can be fetchable off a Capacious Bucket, or Energy Search. I don't know if Capacious Bucket rotates or not. And then all you have to do is Quick Ball, Satchel, Ultra Ball away to get your Melody active. This does require, Gardenias does require a little bit more upfront setup, for a little bit higher payoff, and the fact that you get 2 energies instead. But Melody is still a card that I don't think is going to entirely change. I don't think this card overshadows Melody, is what I'm trying to say.
No, they do different functions.
Yeah. But still, card's good. I don't know if you have anything else to add on.
No, you talk a lot.
I know I do.
Card's really good. Best card of the set. Buy them now. Buy your Zarudes now, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, don't. Don't buy your Zarudes until I buy my Zarudes.
Alright,
Don't screw me up.
we got Zisu, which is, like, the Cynthia's... It's like, so how Bruno is the Cynthia, this is like, what Copycat is to, this. I forgot where I was going with this. It's like Copycat. If you need to, like, draw cards, you can. This only works when your opponent's hand is contextually huge, um, which doesn't seem to be a case in the post-rotation format. We're going to see a lot more Ultra Balls, which means our hands are going to be a lot smaller, and then we're also going to be stuck with the barrels around as our main draw engine. So I think the important thing to note is that, where was I going with this? Is that you're not going to be drawing a whole lot of cards with this, for example. I don't think we're getting to a super greedy format where people are holding all the fucking cards in the world.
No, it's fine. Unfortunately, Sword and Shield has a ton of supporters that are just okay at best. So this
Yeah.
might see play on being like one of the more okay ones,
Right.
but probably not.
This is going to have a hard time competing with Research, and even Copycat or Legacy Resolve. I think those cards are just strictly better in a post-rotation format, and I want to even think about this card in a pre-rotation format, even. And then here's the Bog, which we've been talking about a lot when you put down a Pokemon.
Yeah. It's Poniard support. It was even revealed at the same time as Bisharp. They clearly have planned this.
Yeah, I think that the stadium allows a bunch of synergies to work. I don't think a lot of those outside the Machamp VMAX are super good, though. But I do think it's a pretty good stadium for enabling your shit.
It's funny. Control might try it, but Control is bad, so...
I don't think Control needs this. I think Control's wanted to play basically anything else. Oh fuck, I forgot there's more Pokemon after this.
Yeah, no, we're still going. You talked
God.
so much that you might have to split this into 2 parts.
No. We got Beedrill. Beedrill's bad.
But you can power it up with Gardenia.
Okay, but you're... Okay, yeah, it does 200 damage to a Pokemon.
Okay, you're playing these.
It's a basic Beedrill, Glenn.
Yeah. I will at least say that... Yeah, so it's a basic V. I will say that Manaphy did not see as much play as we were all kind of expecting.
Yeah, I think... I know this isn't the place for this, but I think you're dumb if you don't have Manaphy in your deck, and you're not playing, like, exactly Mew.
I think that the thing is that a lot of decks didn't want to forfeit the one deck slot when we were getting to this hyper-specialized regional format where every deck is, like, super, like, teched out and well, not hyper-focused, but, like, has so many, like, working and moving parts to it where they didn't have the space to play around Rock Strike Urshifu, which they were hoping would just die to basically any Mew variant, which happened, except for the one Rapid Strike player who played Dark in their shit. So, you know, Garchomp Garchomp is like a card that can deal a lot of spread damage, or bench damage at least. I don't see why you wouldn't play this over Garchomp.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. That was a long-winded sort of response to get to that. Let's see. What does Voltorb do? You attack if you go second, only on your first turn. Choose up 2 bench Pokemon for each of those. These are basically... Oh, that's neat.
It's cute. It costs no energy to do it, so you can just kind of do it if you start it, which I like.
This is the type of card that's really good if the Pokemon it evolves to is also, like, pretty good. It's like a beneficiary... It's not effect you want to put into your deck, but it's not effect you're bad to have in your deck.
Yeah, like we mentioned this with the Hisuian Basculin, is that if there's ever a good Hisuian Electrode, which, spoilers, this one is not.
This one isn't.
It is, I believe, the second Pokemon ever to have no attacks requiring energy on their card, and the first one just had no attacks, period.
Neat. That's cool.
Yeah. Fun bit of trivia, let's move on.
Cool. Kricketune, which adds a 40 HP to all your grass Pokemon. This is technically a way to make that Leafeon and V-Star bulkier. It makes all your grasses bulkier.
I'm not sure it's really required anywhere, though.
I don't think you necessarily need this anywhere is the biggest thing. Yeah.
Wait. Are there any grass-type single-strike Pokemon?
Breloom.
Okay, you play this in Breloom with the Abomasnow, and it gets plus 90 HP.
No, you
play. And then you throw on a Cape of Toughness, and it gets
plus
50 HP.
I believe it goes up to 400 HP.
Yeah, 140 with... Plus 140 with the Kricketune and the Cape and the Abomasnow.
So, like, if you want to fucking shit piss around with 400 HP Breloom, go for that, I guess.
Anyway.
It's sort of okay. If you really wanted to lean into the bulky shit, you could. But honestly, there's not a really good grass shell user in the format right now. to like justify this.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I appreciate a good meme card in these parts.
Speaking of memes, look at this fucking reveal. I hate this card.
Oh, this card is hysterical.
You give your opponent 3 energy ramp. In turn, you deal 150 more damage with your own attack.
More importantly, if they put down like a Crobat or a Luminion, you just start throwing energy onto that.
True. And then they attack with a little Luminion, and then you're sad.
Sure.
But yeah, the effect is really weird. It powers up this strategy where you
Mhm.
need like energy on the opponent's Pokemon. It's like it's too
Yeah.
situational for
I
a
don't know.
type of
I
attack.
personally don't think you're ever wanting to attack with this.
Right.
I
You know,
personally think you just want to put energy on something useless to run them out of energy that way. Because it's
uh,
a lot harder to get it off of something than it is to get it out of the discard pile.
true. That seems like a very fringe use.
I mean, it's
Especially
a
when you're.
fringe card. I'm trying here.
Yeah, I mean, you are trying. That's like the best thing I could think about it too, but like, I also don't think that's like entirely necessary. Anyways, Rapidash is bad. Not even gonna talk about it. Torkoal is bad. Not even gonna talk about it. Oh, how long do you want me to rant about this card? I was thinking about this card a lot.
Just remember we, are recording and on a time limit here, and I think we've been going for like an hour already.
Yeah, it's been 56 minutes since we started. Um, it heals, which is sort of okay in helping out its bulk. You can run big charms and the heat fire energies. I think those are rotating. I'm not sure, so those are another way to boost your HP. Um, it does okay amount of damage. The card is overall okay. I think if Malolana was in the format, this card would be okay. At least like trying to heal, because then you can attach like double turbo and hyper potion for 120, and then Malolana for another 120, and then stadium heal, and then you healed off practically all your damage. But we don't, so I don't think this card's that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's bad. I don't care enough to talk about it. Let's move on.
But you can search it with Heavy Ball, which we don't have.
Nope.
Uh,
Golduck is hysterical.
Golduck is really funny.
I can't wait for some control players to just like start panting, trying to figure out what they can do with this.
Haha. I can't. I can't really justify playing this because basically you're saying, okay, I can drown you all your resources with my Golducks before you KO me. That seems really difficult, really hard to do. But like if they don't have energy recovery and they aren't KOing me fast enough, it seems really funny. Other than that, I don't know what your other wing con is. Maybe it's Palisand.
Yeah. No, this is fun. It's not good, but it's fun, which sums up like half the cards in the set.
Yeah. Matching outfits. Both players pick 2 cards from their deck.
Reveal the top 2 cards of their deck. They don't get to pick 2.
They reveal 2 cards of their deck.
Yeah, both players draw 2 and show them, pretty much.
No, I think it's you search 2 cards and you reveal them.
Both players reveal the
2 cards.
The 2 cards. I'm assuming that it means top 2. Like, they would not say reveal the 2 cards you searched like that. It would have to be top 2 for this wording to make sense.
I gotta double check this.
I know I'm right.
Reveal the two. Okay, well, I don't fucking know what this card says. Either way, it's bad because you don't really want to give opponents cards.
No,
you're gonna
it's worth your interpretation for the record.
You search 2 cards of your deck?
And your opponent searches 2 cards from their deck and then gets to use them before they do. So they can just grab a Marnie and shuffle your 2 cards away.
True. But yeah. I mean, I don't want to argue about that because I think the card is just bad regardless.
Let's not argue about bad cards, please. This video is long enough.
Oh god, it's another fucking Regice. It has a Regigate on it. No, I'm not going to talk about it.
But it stops Vs from attacking. It's broken, except... No, effects like this are only good when they're like on you and not on the opponent, so this card is bad.
Yeah, Glaceon, it's bad.
Speaking of which, it's funny. If it did more than 30 damage, you could maybe get somewhere.
30 damage, let's fucking go.
Like, at that point,
Go,
your win
30
condition is just
damage?
stalling to death.
Yeah, the Palkia isn't worth talking about. The V-Star is. The V-Star
Yeah, we talked
is...
about this at length in our other video, which you can go watch.
I think that this card is still worse than Suicune because Suicune
Yeah.
has the damage modifier of Ludicolo. And the
Yeah.
ability is also whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think one other thing that makes Suicune just better is the fact that it's a lot more malleable in how you can build it.
Right, Suicune can play capture energies. It can run Keep Toughness, it can run Ludicolo's. Well, I guess Keep Toughness isn't really an argument. It has Fleet Footed. That's an argument
Yeah.
point. Suicune is just all the more consistent, and your only trade off is that you get 40 more damage with the Palkia V-Star. You're bulkier too, so that is also worth something. But ultimately, the actual damage scaling on like Ludicolo plus Suicune is absurd. And that's really what's pushing the deck right now is the fact that it can Oko Dex as a two-prizer, which is stupid.
Yeah, moving on.
Have a look. He's...
It's almost good, but it's not.
If there's a stadium play, he does 240
240.
damage. They
Or
discard
no,
it.
220. My bad.
Yeah. And then it also requires 4 energy. Lol.
You know, this is pretty much just a single prize version of Primal Groudon from way back in the day, which was an incredibly good card, but that's because, like, you had stuff like Wobbuffet to stall, you were really bulky for the time.
Yeah.
This is not that. 170 is not anything to write home about anymore, sadly.
Nah, not really. Ugh. We got Togepi, Togekick, and Togekiss. They all heal when you evolve into them. I think if we had a space-time distortion in the format, one, the format would be incredibly broken, but two,
Yeah.
you can play Scoop and Net in this Smile.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately not worth it. You're gained some marginal amount of healing that's not actually worth it. You need to get more investment off manual attached DT plus Hyper Potion than playing this entire line.
Yeah.
These three.
Oh, these three. Yeah.
Okay, Azelfie is really bad.
Zelf is really bad. Uxie is bad, but has, like,
Tolerable.
Looking Like Once in a Blue Moon. Mesprit would be really good if you had other good things, like, back in the DP era, back in my day, like, there was an Azelf that did the same thing, but there was also good Uxie and Mesprit cards.
Yeah, okay, but, like, in DP, like, all the Lake Tree were fucking absurd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you could justify wasting 3 bench slots if Uxie and Azelf were giving you benefits, but the fact that they are not means this is never ever worth it.
It's, like I said, maybe if you're a fucking lunatic, you play this in a champ. And that's it.
Yeah, and
Just-
only there.
Yeah, and only there. There's not any other deck that I can think of that needs to justify removing the weakness. In Arceus, that's like the other big deck that's being weak targeted, but we have a Dunsparce for that, so like we
Yeah,
don't need to worry
Arceus
about
has
that.
a better version of this.
Right. So maybe in a world where Machamp is desperate, you can play this, but other than that, don't. Malabar's really bad. Just play
It's bad.
Rapture.
I want to shout out Komiya's artwork again because it's always fantastic.
Dude, what the fuck is he doing, bro? What a weird guy. Not my Hariyama.
No, this is
No.
not the good Hariyama.
Good.
Why would you play this Hariyama
Good.
when you can play Meta Warping Super Threat?
Yeah,
Other
Metamorphing Super
Hariyama.
Threat, fucking coin flip to survive.
You can tell exactly when we recorded this, huh?
Yeah. For context, for people that don't actually fucking know, Hariyama got like top 32 at Liverpool. And it's a single strike where you flip a coin. If you flip heads, you don't fucking die to an attack. It's so stupid. This one's also bad. I'm not gonna talk about the Regirock.
No, let's move on. Gastrodon is
It's,
also bad. Wow.
It does a
The
lot.
art's really fun.
To be fair, yeah, that art is really cute. To be fair, that is a lot of damage. I do believe we have a Steelix that does more, or something like that. Do we?
You are correct. However, Donphan does 120 for 2 less energy, and I
Yeah.
feel like the 2 less energy cost outweighs the 50 extra damage.
Right. So worth mentioning for the sense that it does more damage, but probably not worth it. Donphan is probably just more consistent with what it needs to do.
And even then, Donphan is still very fringe.
Carbink is almost okay. This is
The art's
okay.
really nice.
So this card is explicitly good going second on turn 1, but we just got Shaman. So really, don't.
The art's really nice.
The art is really cute. I love any carving dancing appreciation around here.
Hmm.
Hisui Decidueye. It has a free attack, which could maybe
Yeah,
kill something. I don't know what point. I think it like
I don't know. We've talked about this card before. I stand by that you play one of this in Decidueye and Teleon, which is not a good deck, and you do not play this anywhere else.
yeah, I can't really justify playing this even that
Yeah.
deck either.
Like, it's not good enough to warrant evolving into it, so you want to just have this for... Like,
Yeah.
I guess it lets Decidueye kill Arceus faster, which is nice.
Cleave 4V is not really that great. I can't think of a deck that really gets hampered by like one manual attachment a turn. Unless if you're a bad deck like 15-year Dragapult, then like I guess you get fucked over by this.
Yeah.
Um,
Cleavar V-Star is fun, but not quite self-sufficient enough.
he reminds me a lot of Darkspear. It's literally
Yeah,
just
it's
30.
just souped up Night Spear.
Yeah,
But do you know what else is souped up Night Spear?
Jolteon.
Glaceon VMAX, which also comes with protection.
Oh, I guess so. This is a two
Yeah,
prizer.
yeah.
Uh,
Breakaxe is fun. It would be more fun if you could Zoroark into it, but we're not allowed to have nice things, so
I think I don't really like Glaceon that much. I think it's I
I
think the
was
V is pretty
meaning
good.
Glaceon's a bad card.
Okay, cool. I think this card is actually not awful. I'm trying to like justify it in my head, but like the attack
Yeah,
doesn't seem that
it's
bad.
very fine. It just I don't think the ceiling is high enough, and also
I think
you resist fighting, so you're screwed on that front.
yeah, Mew sucks in a sense that I hate fighting against
Yeah,
it.
but it's a bad deck. Don't let someone take that out of context. Mew's
Yeah,
broken.
I want to justify this, but I can't really justify it right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pass on it. I'll say it's okay, it's whatever. Sneasler, he reduces your retreat cost by 2.
This would be good on a basic, but I think on a stage 1, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. We got Sneasler V, uh, which is Diet Salazzle with
It's Salazzle, but better because it's on a basic, but worse because it requires 2 different kinds of energy,
yeah,
and also, does 10 less damage, which
yeah.
adds up. And
I
and also, more importantly, Fusion Strike energy is in the format, and therefore Salazzle isn't even good.
rip Salazzle. Yeah, I wouldn't even. Well, actually, you played the new stadium now.
This is true. We'll get to that, but
Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't really play this over Salazzle. Salazzle's a basic. It does enough damage. I think its scaling is even better too.
yeah, it's 90 times.
Yeah,
It's a stage 1, which just sucks, and it dies to a stiff breeze, which is to be expected, but
yeah. Oh,
it's also searchable by level ball until we get it.
I also expect to see character rare Ingo in one of these. If not,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go merge someone at Pokemon Company.
cut that
Uh,
part out of the video.
That part out of the video, yeah.
Darkrai,
Darkrai's bad.
he's bad. Bastiodon,
Yeah, he's also not... This
he's
would be
bad.
fine if he wasn't a fucking fossil.
Yeah, he's bad.
Why must you do this? And there's no fossil support in this set either.
I was actually a little bit scared because I saw that we got another Bronzor with ability, but this one's kind of bad.
Yeah. The art on this is incredible. It's the same guy that did the Ariados, and I believe this is the first set he's done, but I really love his take on it. It feels like very like 1970s Marvel Comics sort of thing, you know?
Sure. Bakura is bad.
It's funny but not good.
Regidrago is like the only interesting one here, and unfortunately, they decided to put a 3 fucking retreat cost on it.
Yeah, they should have given this one 0 just to rub it in Regieleki's
Oh my
face.
god, I wouldn't even mind it if it just had fucking 2. At least I could stick an air balloon and justify this. At least I could say, oh my god, single prize Cricketune. But no, you had to put 3 fucking retreat on this fucking bastard. I fucking hate this so much.
Yeah,
We
I
had
wouldn't even
one
play
trip-
this in Terran.
I mean, you don't want to play this in Sharon because you're really desperate to find any of your Regidragos.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Um, like, it's not a bad ability, but 3 retreat really kills it. If we had a float stone in the format, maybe, but we have air balloon, which means you still have to pay an energy to retreat with air balloon attached. So yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it. Licky Licky is bad. We talked about the Eevee already.
We talked about the Eevee.
Ursa Luna, I thought this was a stage 1 at first.
If Ursaluna was a stage one, it would actually hold up, maybe make control viable because it's 2 of any card.
Oh my god, we got jump cut, guys. It's gonna be broken.
Unfortunately, it's a stage 2 for some godforsaken reason.
Yeah.
And therefore, I do not see a world in which this is playable.
I mean, it does a lot of damage, to be fair.
It does a lot of
but
damage.
It's not enough to actually justify actually playing this. And the
Yeah.
jump cut effect is, like we said, not very good in today's current climate.
No, it would be. I think this would be insane, even on a stage 1, because it's 2 of any card.
Yeah. The Oranguru is sort of funny.
They really want Pachirisu Honchkrow to be good.
Yeah. There's quite a few tools in this format that we want to be searching for. Choice Bell, Cape Toughness, Big Charm,
Air
Air
Balloon.
Balloon. There's probably one more I'm thinking, like I could think of by Cape.
Tool Jammer?
Tool Jammer. There we go. If you're also playing Gradient, this is also okay because it fetches out the specific gloves that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there's not too many other decks that really demand tool search. It's really not worth the place to have a 2 prizer saved on your bench just to grab a tool once in a game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Again, they really, really want people to play Pachirisu.
Yeah. I will say at the very least, he actually has the HP, unlike basically all the other support Pokemon, which have like 180.
Yeah.
So he isn't gonna die to.
I mean, he's tied with Crobat, so
yeah. Kamala. This gives you some fucking GSC PTSD.
Yeah. I will be honest. I read this and just thought it was an automatic. Your opponent doesn't take prize cards, and
you gotta lose the coin flip.
Yeah, I am so glad that this is not
a baby Pokemon. I agree. It's really funny.
I don't know. I hope a card like this never sees play. Look, honestly, I know you're laughing, but I actually did play a fair amount of Florges Dolls format, and
fair. I was also gonna say I don't think this card's that great. Only due to the fact that
I mean it's obviously not good. I just hope it never becomes good.
Yeah, its attack costs 2 energy, which I mean we do have twins and DTs, but those are finite. If it costs 1 energy, it'd be really easy to use. Energy Lotto, it's Togekiss support. Smile.
Yeah.
We get to play this in Togekiss. Isn't it funny how all the cards that support Togekiss also support Mew? Isn't that crazy? It's almost like Togekiss.
I think it's more just like every halfway decent item card is just at its best in the deck that sees it most, which is Mew.
Yeah.
Anyway, it sure is nice that Mew can like occasionally whiff the turn 1 Meloetta if they don't find the other energy with the Alyssa Sparkle. It sure would be a shame if they printed a card that just completely removed that weakness.
Yeah, well, fuck you. Basically.
Oh my god. Yeah, this card is the support Mew didn't need. Moving on?
I don't think Rapid Strike or Single Strike really need this card.
Yeah.
They
I could see you maybe play this in Arceus, but you also just have Starbirth.
I feel like it'd have to be some type of like Turbo Aggro Arceus variant that has to use this to fetch DTE. But that also seems kind of fringe. So, I mean, it's just Togekiss and Mew support.
Yeah, and Togekiss is bad, but hey, Mew's the best deck in the format, so fuck everyone.
Buffs, you don't know.
Yeah, Mew gets better every set, and I hate it.
No, I was talking about Togekiss, but go off, Queen.
I'm right, and you know it. Fossil is a fossil. We talked about this already.
Yeah.
Hisuian Heavy Ball.
This is pretty good at Durant.
Yeah, pretty much exactly Durant.
If there's some... It puts a card into your hand, right? Yeah.
It does.
This is... I'm not sure. This might be a one-of in, like, those Arceus checkmate decks, because those play, like, a few one-of attackers, and sometimes you just need to fucking find that fucking Moltres and a fucking Zapdos in order to win the match. So I can, like, legitimately see this as a one-of in those types of decks.
Yeah, no, this is
a card that
it's not as bad as it looked when it first came out, but it's not great.
Yeah, the very, very smart players will probably shove a single copy of this into their decks. And then Durant will as well, but I don't think any other deck needs this specific type of search. Super effective glasses. Triples the weakness.
Did you want to die to Mew faster?
I was thinking you could play this in Kecleon.
Yeah, no, Kecleon with this actually, wait. I
Yo,
believe it does like 270 for weakness then.
I think yeah, it does something like that. It's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
270.
Isn't that funny? That's really funny.
That's hysterical.
um, but yeah,
Funny meme deck, maybe.
yeah.
Not, I think this is too situational to run, honestly.
I can't think of any other cheap attackers as well that would really benefit off of this. Um, even in a weakness box style of deck. I can't. Yeah, I can't find a reason to like absolutely play this. Maybe you can play this in Zora box. It allows you to scam out some KOs against some certain V stars and some
Yeah,
V
frankly, I
decks.
would rather just run the belt, but
Yeah, the belt is in general better in most other situations. But like maybe it's like turn two and you scam a kill against like fucking Arceus. I don't know.
I guess. Anyway, let's move on to like actually promising cards.
Arena. I don't think this card's that great.
I think it's like really solid in a format that just does not appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It's because we've been spoiled by fucking Drizzile and Teleon
Mhm.
for the past 2 years.
No, there is zero reason to run this while
Past 3.
Drizzile is in the format. It will probably see some sort of place once that card rotates.
Yeah. It grabs an item card and a water Pokemon. That's. Oh, wait! I just realized this is how you fetch your fucking Ludicolo rare candy! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's broken.
You still do need Melody at some points, but Suicune's a very efficient enough deck that, at the time you want to, like, start Rare Candy and Ludicolo, you'll probably already have enough energy in play. But, like, dude, I finally figured it out. This is how you get your fucking Ludicolo Rare Candy. Post-rotation.
There we go.
There we go. Alright, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I thought this card was kind of whatever at first.
Mhm.
That's so good. Even so, like, you can grab an item and Lumineon if you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel a lot better about that card now. Everything is fixed.
Yeah, no, my stance is just wait until Drizzile rotates, and then you actually have to work for your item cards.
Yeah, Grand. I didn't really talk about this with any of the fighting Pokemon. That's frankly because I don't think it's that great.
I don't know. Again, I think this card is really solid because it's just a recurable thing. Like, I was
Yeah.
thinking I could play this in Zoroark just as a way to discard 2 cards and up my damage a bit more.
Sure. If you do ways to discard cards, you can do that. There were like at some point some people were playing like fucking the Galarian Meowth and it just discards to searches your deck for a Berserker. So
Yeah, no, it's
and then
better
they
as
use
a
that with Rapid
free
Strike
discard
Mustard.
outlet than it is as an energy, like, ramp. Because neither of the Urshifus need the extra 30 damage, and they are currently the best fighting deck except for Hariyama.
Yeah. Also, fun fact: you don't have to put the Grand into your hand.
Yeah, you can just discard 2 cards because you feel like it.
Yeah, use Grand, and then you may take this Grand from your discard pile.
That's awesome. I love that you also cannot discard Grant for Grant because they really only want you to play one.
Yeah. Worth noting that this increases the ability if you play like single strike Mustard or single strike Mustard.
Yeah, no, putting this in your discard pile just sets up a lot of free discard outlets, which I think makes it a really fun card that I will be interested to see if it sees any play just for that.
Oh man, I love giving Mew
Even
even
if
more
the
card
actual
draw.
damage buff is not incredibly relevant.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like if there's any decks that actually appreciate maybe the Hisui Decision Way. I forgot what its damage cap was. The V star I'm talking about.
I don't know. I was just thinking Wormadam, honestly.
Yeah. And the Machamp doesn't entirely need this. Machamp might like if you have this in Machamp, you get Oko Cape Suicune, but that's about it. Can you? No, you can't. You hit 250 against 260. Yeah, but Grinch is a cool card. I'm sure people will find ways to make this card a lot more interesting outside of the effect of, Leoning your fucking fighting types. Choi. It's like hot, but you also reveal your plays and your opponent's plays.
I appreciate that they're just attempting to make Shiran not awful.
Haha. They just like, I don't know. This is their mandatory draw 3 cards this set. with fancy effect. Under Step of Sinnoh.
Yeah.
I forgot that card was here. I mean, I remembered it earlier. You can play this in Salazzle. It doesn't necessarily stop you. It just stops her from max Miracling. It technically
Mhm.
turns off Melodious Echo too.
No, I think this stop. I don't think this stops me because me just turbos through their deck, finds the stadium, and
True. This isn't Path to the Peak, which means they actually do get to draw cards.
no, just play fast.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if this is actually usable anywhere else. I mean, other decks are going to find it annoying, like, turns off DTs for the turn. But then again,
Like it's not a
Starburst,
terrible card, but
yeah, Starburst, Rapid Strike Search. Basically, you're only gunning Gengar, and Gengar has already been fucking awful. I hate Gengar.
yeah, we're not Gengar fans in this house.
So yeah, Arena's pretty good. Gardenia is pretty good.
Yeah, Gardenia and a bunch of stuff that might be okay once me rotates is my take.
The heavy ball's low key really good. The top players will use it at least. I think Machamp V-Star, or not V-Star, V-Max is pretty good. Anything else that really comes to mind? I can't really think of anything else. I'm like double checking just by scrolling.
No, I'm just gonna make a bold claim that there is not a single good Pokemon in this set.
Yeah, this set isn't as great. We're still like when we get our actual official set, we're gonna get a lot more cards than this.
Yeah, like Battle Region is gonna be the carry with like Mighty Anna and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Lilligant's kind of okay too. That's about
Yeah,
it.
Lilligant is probably the best. This just feels so weak.
Yeah, set's okay. It has there's a few strong supporters. It has like a few good stadiums and a few good new attacking Pokemon. But other than that, most of the stuff is kind of really fringe.
Yeah, you are mostly just buying this for Gardenia in this incarnation.
Yeah. Anything else you have to add on?
Well, no.
Cool. I'm going to bed. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.